If a thermal drone flew over your house tonight, would it see you? Most modern homes glow like lanterns under infrared cameras. Heat leaks through roofs, vents, and attic spaces, creating a clear human signature against cooler surroundings. From above, it's obvious. But about 150 years ago, pioneers stumbled into a solution that quietly solves this problem. No sensors, no satellites, no artificial intelligence. Just dirt, timber, and the need to survive winter. And here's the strange part. The shelters they built to stay warm on the open plains may create less thermal contrast today than many modern high-tech bunkers. This is the forgotten dugout and why it still works. In the mid-1800s, settlers crossing the American plains didn't have sawmills or concrete trucks waiting for them. In places like Nebraska, Kansas, and the Dakota Territory, trees were scarce, lumber was expensive, and winters were brutal. Building a traditional cabin wasn't always possible, so they built into the ground. Pioneers dug shallow pits into hillsides or flat prairie, framed simple roofs from timber or sod blocks, and piled thick layers of earth on top. These structures were called dugouts. They weren't elegant, but they were survivable. Wind dropped away, heat stayed in, fuel lasted longer. They were built for insulation, not concealment, but they had an unintended side effect. They blended into the land. To understand why, you need to know what thermal cameras actually see. They don't see people or buildings, they see temperature differences. A warm object against a cooler background stands out. A heated house leaks energy through thin materials, creating bright patches and sharp edges that are easy to recognize. Concrete and metal make this worse. They store heat and release it unevenly. Roofs warm quickly, cool quickly, and advertise what's happening inside. Vents and chimneys push warm air upward, forming visible thermal plumes. Soil behaves differently. Compacted earth has high thermal mass. It absorbs heat slowly, it releases heat slowly, and it tends to stay close to the temperature of the surrounding ground. When a structure is buried under several feet of soil, heat isn't stopped, it's spread out. It diffuses into a large mass instead of rushing to the surface. From above, that surface looks boring. No glow, no sharp outline, just ground doing what ground normally does. Many dugouts also used curved roofs made from sod or timber arches. That curve matters. Structurally, arches distribute weight better than flat spans, which is why they show up later in military bunkers. Thermally, curves remove sharp edges and corners. Temperature transitions are smoother. And modern detection systems look for patterns, straight lines, corners, repeating geometry. A buried arch under soil looks like terrain, not architecture. From a few hundred feet up, it's just another patch of earth. This effect showed up again during the Cold War. Civil defense studies in the 1950s and 60s found that a few feet of packed earth dramatically reduced radiation exposure. That's why fallout shelters were buried, but an overlooked benefit was temperature stability. Those shelters stayed relatively cool in summer and warmer than outside air in winter without electricity. Even today, many underground homes sit near a steady baseline temperature year-round. No hot attic, no glowing roof, just ground temperature. Modern survival culture often goes in the opposite direction. Thick concrete, steel doors, shipping containers. But concrete stores heat, metal radiates it. Vertical vents push warm air straight up, creating signals that stand out. The pioneer approach was quieter. Air moves slowly, heat spread gradually. Instead of forcing energy out, it let the earth absorb it over time. You don't stop heat, you wear it down. Today, architects call this earth-sheltered design. Off-grid builders use it for efficiency. Engineers use similar ideas in hardened field structures. But pioneers used it because they had no choice. They weren't hiding from drones, they were trying not to freeze. And in working with the physics of the land, they built something that blends with nature and, unintentionally, with modern sensors. The lesson here isn't about fear,
It's about understanding. When you fight nature, you glow. When you work with it, you fade into the background. The 1800s dugout wasn't high-tech. It was high understanding. And sometimes the safest place in a high-tech world is under a little dirt.